Hey guys, welcome to 314 Podcast. I'm Jeff. This is Ellie. Hope everybody's doing good. And welcome back to the podcast. What's up?
Hello. What was I supposed to say?
It's just funny because you didn't want to do the intro.
No, I've done it twice.
You called last week. I think you called it Podcast 314. Yeah, I think that's what you call it.
Well, that's what it is.
314 Podcast.
Whatever.
Tell them why it's 314.
Because it comes from Colossians 3:14, which it tells us to put on love and to remind us in all things that we do it for love, and to put on Jesus is our translation.
Yeah, put on Jesus. So today we want to talk about, we're in our home, by the way, so if it's echoing, sorry, we've been having lots of echoes here lately anyway. Okay. And I'm trying to keep my chair so I'm taller than Ellie. That's...
I'm trying to keep my chair from squeaking.
Short man syndrome. So tell them what we're talking about today.
You're not short. We are talking about how to deal with difficult people, right?
Yep.
How to deal with you. Is what the translation is.
That's true. That's really true.
How do you deal with difficult people?
I really don't. It's a work in progress. Difficult people are everywhere. I mean, they are. I mean, you encounter them at every stage in life. It's not just. You encounter me at home, so I'm difficult. And then you encounter them at the stores. You encounter them at
today.
The fill-a-bag day.
Today was not that bad. I thought it was going to be a difficult person day, and I drank extra coffee and I ate cookies before I left the house, so I'd be in a good mood. But people were really nice today. You'd be proud of.
Wow.
The Etowah people, whoever was there, Etowah County people.
Must not been any people from Southside there. So.
It actually went really well. Went to Martin's to
joking.
The fill-a-bag. Can I say that on here? We're not advertising anyway.
No, we don't care. Who cares?
Anyway.
Nobody watches this anyway.
It wasn't bad. We racked up some stuff for the kids, and people were nice. It was good.
So nobody wasn't like Black Friday shopping?
I've never been on Black Friday shopping.
Really?
And I will never do it.
Why?
I refuse. I do Black Friday online shopping.
Why will you not do Black
because
Friday?
Of difficult people. And I'm scared somebody's going to pull a gun out, or I'm going to get mad and snatch something from a baby. I don't know. I can't even.
People are difficult in all kinds of areas. I mean, like today you were shopping, doing a little bit of school shopping. We're waiting for another pay period to do the rest of school shopping. But difficult people don't have to be just people that are jerks or mean to each other. It can be like today, you're literally in this store and you're picking up hangers off the floor where people, and there's just hundreds of people and hangers everywhere. People are just taking stuff off, stuffing their bag and throwing the hangers in the floor when there's a box
to put them in
20 feet away or 10 feet away.
Or a countertop. It drove me crazy. It was the weirdest thing ever. People are walking over hangers, and I thought, guys, pick up the hanger. Somebody's gonna have to do it. And I kept telling Haley, both kept saying it the whole time, we feel so sorry for these workers. We feel so sorry for them. And honestly, until you've done a job in the public or customer service or anything of that nature, you don't really appreciate what they go through. So you're right, difficult people can be people who just are rude, mean, just don't consider other people. I think when we think of difficult people, we automatically go to the angry or rude, but just not being considerate as a human being is very difficult to deal with.
I go to all kinds of places. I mean, I think it's throwing stuff on the floor, knowing I don't have to pick it up, let somebody else do it. That's what they get paid for, that kind of crap that people say. Or difficult people are some church people, we'll call them, at restaurants that are rude to their servers or
don't tip well.
Don't tip. I think that's difficult. I mean, that also is inconsiderate and rude and everything else. But I think difficult people everybody fits in that when it comes to not putting your grocery cart back. See, I said cart, not buggy. You just solved that debate. Is it a buggy? You're from the South. Is it a buggy or is it a cart?
It's a shopping cart.
It's a buggy.
That's a Volkswagen. That we can do a whole podcast on the North versus the South and the things that we say.
And the North are difficult people.
And I'm not even a Northerner. I'm still south of the Mason-Dixon line, but still, there's a lot of North sayings in me because it mixes up there.
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Gosh, talk about dealing with difficult people. Go up north and see how you make it. Ooh. I had to learn about personal space down here. I didn't know that was a thing. Like, apparently, you don't stand close to people when you're in line. Jeff has to pull me back by my shirt. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're too close. I'm like, what? That's not even a thing. Yes, it is.
It is a thing.
Anyway.
If you're in line somewhere, stand back. And it's not because of COVID. I was doing that before COVID, decades ago.
Please.
Just stay back from people. I mean, you ain't got to be all up on people breathing.
There are line snatchers, and somebody could jack your place on.
That's when you grab them by the collar and put them in the back behind you.
Well, that's when you get arrested.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, not in the South.
Anyway.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, are you a difficult person, or is your struggle dealing with the difficult people? Or maybe you're both. I don't know. Like, I try to tell myself not to be the difficult person. But I don't know. Some days I probably am that difficult person.
Mine's both. I'm difficult, and I have a problem dealing with difficult people. I think difficult people are in so many different categories. And then, I was reading Proverbs 15:1, a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. And then in Romans 12:18, it says, if possible, so as it depends on you, live peaceably with everybody.
Yeah.
So, I mean, God kind of puts that back in your corner. As long as it's possible with you, you live in peace with them.
Well, and you can disagree with people, whether it's their actions or their morals or their beliefs, but you can still be kind and not rude to them. Yes, you have to be. It's not a choice. You read it.
I know you can be. I know it's possible.
You may not want to be, but you have to be.
That's our ice machine. That's awesome. We're in a live atmosphere. You may hear dogs barking. You may see cats fight. Haley may walk through. A big truck may pull up. Who knows what goes on here? Our gate bell may go off. Let us know somebody's entering the property. But difficult people are everywhere. I mean, one thing that drives us crazy is people driving through the stop sign out here. I mean, they just drive through
I saw you the other day in your black vehicle. I've got your number.
We won't tell you where we live, but because some of you are crazy people. So I
don't have your phone number, but I have your driver's license. I mean, your license plate number. Sorry. See, I'm being a difficult person.
Is that how you deal with difficult people?
Hey, I did very well. I did not say a word. I might have looked at them. Mine says forgiven. And I did well. I wasn't mean, but I stared at them, and then I remembered, you have to live with these people. They're probably your neighbors, so be nice. Put on Jesus, and I walked away.
Well, difficult people come in every.
And first, I got out of my car though.
We've had people that we've encountered over the years in churches that don't like. I mean, not our church now. Used to be, you didn't sit in a certain area. If they were sat in a seat, that so and so sits there, and I don't think we've ever had anybody We've been there since 2009, 2008 off and on, and then 2009 we've pretty much been there ever since as far as hanging out, being a part of the church. But I don't think we've ever had anybody do that, not as far as I've heard. But we used to have people. My job when I was hired at the church in 2011 was to come in and run off the difficult people. I was literally hired to do that. We need these people. We need to get this back in Jesus' court. And I deal with difficult people a different way. I deal with difficult people head on, like in your face. You're being a jerk, and this is something you shouldn't be doing, and we don't appreciate it. And you can either get your stuff and go, or you can straighten yourself out and fit in here and work and serve the Lord. And
whereas my tactic's a little different.
Tell us how your tactic is.
Mine is more, this is my perspective, this is what I'm seeing, because sometimes we don't always see a different perspective.
Right.
This is where I think you're coming from. Talk to me about it. Why are you acting that way? What are you upset about? There's always a why behind the people and the way they act. And sometimes you have to go, I may not know that why. Sometimes it's not our business to know their why, but you still have to give them some space and some time and just say, this is my perspective, this is what I need you to work on, but talk through it and explain to me what's going on. But ultimately, they have a goal. I mean, I need this done, whatever it needs to be. But I don't know. I'm different about it. I'm not like, do it or you're fired, or whatever.
I think people have different approaches.
But that's why we work. Like, we balance each other out.
Right.
Because they run to me after they have an encounter with you, and I ease it over. Right?
I guess. I don't really know. It's not that I'm trying to be mean. It's just like, I mean, people ought to know better. When you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, even your dadgummit, when you're in your 20s, you ought to know better than to be mean, to be a jerk, to be. I mean, let's face it, some people got demons.
Well, I mean, there are moments where you do have to call people out. No niceness about it. You did that. It was wrong. Now, fix it. There are those moments.
Yeah, there are those moments. There are people that. And we can be difficult. So we're not just talking or projecting on other people. We can be difficult at times as well. I mean, very difficult at times I can be. And man, I just sound like Yoda. Very difficult at times I can be.
Difficult you are.
And we've never watched a full episode of that. Sorry, Chase and our son-in-law Daniel.
I have really tried, but I have fallen asleep every time.
And people are screaming at us right now. Watch it in the order we tell you to watch it. And we've tried. We've watched it in all these different orders. And we start with one, and we get 10 minutes in, and we can't watch it. So we won't call it out. That way Cameron don't get mad at us or anything.
So how do we, as Christians or people who just want to be nicer people, handle other people who are rude, mean to us, or whatever?
I think that, again, you figure out what your niche is and how you can approach people and handle people, but you don't let it just go. I think Christians have far too long been walked over, and we're talking about it from a Christian perspective. I mean, if you're not a Christian, you should be one, but we've been walked over. We're supposed to let people. The world thinks we're supposed to let people walk all over us, and that's just we're to be passive and just let it be. Que sera, sera. If people do bad things to us, we just let it go. If they're difficult, we should just sweep it under the carpet. And not, I mean, I don't think so. I don't think that's what God has told us to do. I mean, God has called us to love people in every situation and be lovable during those situations. But I don't think just because you're direct that means that you're not being lovable or caring.
Okay, so there's two different, or you may hear the lawnmower of the neighbor. Really? You cut your grass like every 2 days.
He ain't got
anyway, I think that if it's a person in public that you do not know, and we've told our Sunday school class this, if you don't have a relationship with them, you have no right to confront somebody in a manner of, hey, this needs to be fixed, right? Mm-hmm. If it's somebody you know and somebody that you are building a relationship with, that's where your relationship comes from, or you have to build the relationship first, right? You have to know them well enough, have trust, and be invested in them enough to be able to call them out on something. Right. So we're not saying go to the local stranger and call them out. It's different when you have somebody that you've actually built a relationship with.
Oh, I agree.
What is it time to do?
It's just telling me to get ready for this wedding that we got to go do, but it's okay. We got time. I think you don't.
I mean, do you call out perfect good strangers?
No, I don't. No, I want to, but I don't do that because they're none of my business. I mean, do we or should we give the gospel to everybody? Sure, absolutely. But you don't just force yourself into a situation. It's the Facebook warriors or the Twitter trolls that get out there and you have to comment. It's you people that have to comment on everything that has nothing to do with you. That is difficult people. I mean, people nowadays cannot even post whatever they believe on social media without somebody hammering them and being mad.
Correct.
And or people post on their social media page being difficult. I don't know. There's got to be a place where you draw the line. I mean, we live in a neighborhood, and probably every neighborhood in America now has a Facebook group where if there's a firecracker that goes off too late, somebody complains about it, or like Ellie, somebody runs a stop sign. But it's not just somebody; it's everybody in this neighborhood. People going down to the boat ramp. It's crazy. Stop signs should always be stopped at. But I mean, it could be that, or the dog's barking too loud. We had a neighbor put in there in one of our groups that he was mad at a dog, and if this dog ever come up on his property again, he was going to take care of it. Wasn't our dog, thank God.
But do you think that difficult people seek out conflict, and
Yeah.
that's like the root of it?
Yeah. I don't know about the
Or
root.
maybe sometimes you're just having a bad day. I mean, I guess it could both, but it just seems like people who are very difficult are also looking for something to be upset about.
People, they do. Difficult people want to be upset about everything, and they get on social media and they just hammer people. I mean, they have an encounter like a lot of the people that watch or are listening, or some people that don't or never will, would have gone to where you guys went shopping this morning, and if they were a difficult person, they would have never picked up a hanger, and they would have came back and posted about how terrible the people were throwing stuff on the floor, or how awful the employees of that particular place is because they didn't go around picking up the hangers, and we had to step over all these hangers on the floor.
Yeah.
That kind of deal.
Instead of taking care of it themselves.
People posting about other people's kids on social media, getting mad at their kids because their kid had an encounter with another kid, and you hurt my kid's feelings, and I'm telling you this, we're going to get mad at these people, and they post on social media because their kid got offended or got in an argument with another kid, and then they put this other kid out on social media on blast, but they never say the name. It's very passive aggressive, right. And that's difficult people to me. And if you have a problem with somebody, you pick up the phone and you call them. Don't text them. You pick up the phone and call them. Right. Or you find somebody that's connected with them, that if they're being difficult about you or your family, you find somebody that's connected to them that you know, and say, hey, can you get them to get a hold of me or find out what's going on? But
there's always two sides of the story.
Sure.
And even as parents, like, there would be moments where our kids would be in trouble, or a teacher would say, hey, they didn't do whatever. And your first instinct is to go on the defensive of, well, what did you not do? You know what I mean? And then when you start getting all of the information and all of the perspectives involved, you realize, well, it was a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So, solve the problem. Where do we go from here? Jeff Lewis does that. That show, well, it was Flipping Out, and now he has a new show. But he'll tell his people that a lot. They'll say, well, what about this? And well, if you do that, it's going to be too bright. If you do that, it's going to be too dark. And he'll just stop them and say, I need a solution. We know there's multiple problems. I need a solution. And honestly, it comes down to that. Like, if you're in a conflict with somebody or you're dealing with a difficult person, just remember, okay, what's the resolution here? Where do we go from here? Right?
For me, I don't associate with difficult people after the conflict's been addressed. And
if it doesn't get
if
fixed,
it's not resolved, I don't associate with them.
You move on.
Ever.
I got you.
And that's okay.
You did your part, you move on.
Yep. Yeah, and people can be difficult all they want to. It doesn't mean you have to be sucked into their drama or to their life and be miserable with them.
Agree.
So, but some people now are screaming out at us, and they're saying, well, Matthew 7:1 says, judge not lest you be judged. Well, read the verses in context, the ones before it and the ones after it in context. Christians are supposed to judge other Christians and get their butts in gear if you're invested in their life.
Right.
Again, quit going on social media and calling out people. Not that they're going to do it. I mean, people are not going to. They're going to continue to do it.
But you don't have to be a part of it.
No.
That's the point. That's that block button. It comes in handy.
Well, one thing...
Or just don't be on it.
Yeah, one thing that I've hammered in our people's hearts for 11 years, in their faces and ears and everything else, is that one thing that God abhors and hates one of the things is gossip.
Yep.
And backbiting.
Yep.
And it seems that Christians, more than anybody, are the ones that complain, murmur, gossip, talk behind people's backs. And they know in the scripture that that's one of the things that or several of the things that God said he abhors, he hates it. But yet we gossip and we talk about people behind their back, and knowing that God hates it.
Yeah.
And that's a difficult person. But I don't even know if you can be a Christian Honestly, I don't know, because Christian, it is a oxymoron to have a person that gossips and then they say they're a Christian, because Christians are not supposed to gossip.
Right.
And Christians, it means Christ-like. Yeah, it's not found in the Bible, but we're to be Christ followers. And a person that follows Christ doesn't talk behind people's backs, or they don't gossip about people. And so I just don't know. I really don't know if people that it is up to them, it's up to God in their heart. But I will tell you this, it sure is not reflective of a person that knows God and fears him.
Right. Well, and we are supposed to reflect Christ. So if that is something you're participating in, you're not reflecting Christ. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that we all need to go back to every day, especially when we're going clothes shopping or driving.
Yeah.
Just remind yourself, like, you reflect Christ.
It's getting personal.
Well, I have to remind, like, I have one of our church's sticker on the back of my car, and I kind of like it because it holds me accountable for my behavior as a driver.
Yeah.
And to represent better. But it is, like, even still, you should represent well and remind yourself that, hey, I'm supposed to be Christ-like. Like, right. Let's get Christ-like.
It's difficult. Dealing with difficult, even being a difficult person yourself, sometimes you have to talk yourself down off the ledge. Am I being difficult here?
Right.
That's why over the years that you and I have been together, we've been in a relationship for a long time now, and
about 14 years.
Yeah, and I've had over the year I was very direct and very I'm combative, and I wanted to argue about everything and prove my point and argue my case. And now I find myself, when I even try to do that, I feel guilty and feel convicted. So I go to, like we talked about last week, I go to that shutdown place, and sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not. Sometimes resolving, or when I'm being difficult, I just shut down, or if I get into a difficult situation with us, I shut down. Not so much with other people. I'm kind of still rough around the edges when it comes to dealing with other people, but when we're difficult, we've got to talk ourselves down off of a ledge and say, we can't be that way. It's not representative of Christ. And according to Philippians, we can do all things through Christ that strengthen us. And that is what that scripture is talking about. We can live godly when we choose to yield to Christ and in every situation. And there have been times that we could very easily get difficult or be difficult ourselves. Difficult people stand in the corridors of their office complexes or their factories or their cubicles or wherever they work, and or businesses, whatever the case may be, churches, schools. They stand around and they gossip or they talk or they're difficult, and they know what their job description says. And this is something, being a pastor for so many years and have people that work for you, and you give them a job description and they don't fulfill that job description. And then when you call them out on the carpet and say, okay, this is your job as a music minister or as a youth pastor or a children's minister, not that ours do it now. They don't have job descriptions. I've alleviated them. Let's just do what I say and we'll be fine. And I don't even tell them.
Because you're not difficult to work.
I don't even tell them what to do anymore, ever. Do I?
No,
I never tell them what to do. Just do your job. Be godly and do things that teach people the right way. But I'd call them in the past when I had employees that were paid, and I would say, okay, we're not holding up to this end of the bargain here. Can you adjust that? Well, then they get difficult, and all I'm asking you to do is just do what you signed up to do.
Correct.
And,
right.
But yet they want to stand down in the hallway or in the youth building, or it sounds like I've had an encounter with a youth pastor before. Not our church, but it just, people get difficult. I don't want to. I'm not going extra. They pay me only this amount of money, and I'm not doing all this work. Well, that's difficult. It's being difficult, and there are bosses that are difficult that add on things. Other job duties assigned by
State Departments.
Careful.
Leave that there.
Careful. But I think difficult people come in different forms and come in different facets, and we encounter them every single day. If somebody doesn't go when the red light or the stoplight turns green, and you're behind them and you honk the horn, well, you're a horrible person. I mean, maybe they're on their phone, and maybe you should just give them a boop boop, one of those little toot toots, that kind of thing, instead of blaring your horn and give them the evil eye or the finger or waving your hands, go on, and I do that. Not the finger, but maybe go ahead, go on. Or then
Did you tell them that they're 3 years old?
3 years, I do not.
No, I'm saying you might. You could.
Oh, you could.
But we don't do that.
No.
No.
Yeah, some of you didn't get that.
Some of the generations aren't going to get what that means.
Some of you need to read between the lines.
Okay. So, but you don't know, like, that could be a mom feeding her child a snack real quick before the light turned green, or they just got a difficult phone call and they're emotional about something, or they're on the way to the hospital and there's an emergent, like, their mind is wandering, they're going through something, depression, like, you just don't know. And I guess that was my point when we kind of started the whole thing, is you don't know what people are going through. No. Could they be a difficult person because they just like being a difficult person? Yep. But sometimes there's more rooted reasons why they're doing, and it's kind of like what we do in the education field. When a child gets in trouble, there's an antecedent, there's something that happened or a reason behind what they're doing, and our job is to figure it out, try to fix it. Sometimes they're just being a little stinker to be a little stinker, but generally there's a reason.
We're not going to, obviously, we just wanted to kind of talk today about difficult.
We can't solve all of your problems.
James tells us that count it joy when you enter into difficult situations, and count it a joy that you can be a representative of Jesus during that situation, that God's given you the strength through the power of the Holy Spirit to encounter those situations and get through them, and let Him come out victorious, and let Him come out shining and getting the victory from difficult situations. We're getting ready to be done, but
you cannot do that if you're not deeply rooted in the Word.
No.
Praying and seeking God's face daily, personally, and worshiping Him on a daily basis or a weekly basis, even if you just need somewhere to start. It won't come naturally. You have to get yourself into the Word. You really do.
Luke 6:27 tells us to love your enemies. That's a difficult thing to do.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, but we're going to get into that next time, loving your enemies. But enemies are difficult people, and you got to love them from a distance. Block them, block their phones, block their Instagrams, their Twitters, block all of that stuff. And that way you're not a part of their life and they're not a part of yours.
Well, and you're not tempted to jump in and...
Well, we make ourselves miserable when we try to fix difficult people that we can't fix. Right. I've had to unfollow so many people on social media. Unfollow, hundreds of people. I went through there because back a long time ago, we were our social media was growing, our footprint on our videos for our churches were growing, our podcast stuff was growing exponentially, and it finally we hit a huge speed bump, and everything happened, and COVID and all that other crap that happened, and I just decided, you know what, I'm going to reach who I'm invested in. Right. Yes, I want to reach more people, but if I know you, I'll follow you back. If I don't know you, I'm not gonna. And you're supposed to build relationships. That's not, social media is a tool, but sometimes it makes the real tools shine, if you know what I mean. Some of you are just turds on social media, and so I've unfollowed them. They're difficult people because I think all day long. They make a stupid post. Well, just don't get on social media, Jeff. Nope, I can be on there and follow encouraging people and do the same thing. I try to encourage people through our post, and usually it's just about our kids and grandkids. Don't be difficult. Be a person that reflects Christ in every situation. If you are a difficult person, as we are at times, back up and punt. Figure out how not to be difficult in a situation. When you're getting to a situation, it's 4:44 on the clock, J-Dub White. It's when you get to a situation where it could be difficult, back up and think, okay, how can I approach this difficult situation and honor God?
And am I invested in that person's life enough to say something? Or if I'm not, shut my mouth up and walk away. Yeah,
keep your mouth closed. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to your relationship or potential relationship with somebody, or the way your kids see you interact or be bothered with.
Gosh, that's another whole podcast right there, is representing Christ through the way you act and your kids watching you.
So
That's another
if you're
Write that
difficult, difficult people breed difficult people, and difficult people seemingly find themselves associating themselves with other difficult people.
Yep.
And
Don't be difficult.
God, man, if you're a Christian,
Put on love.
you should not be difficult. You should put on love.
That's right.
Why? Because
Colossians 3:14
tells us to put on love in every situation, which means put on Christ
Right.
in every one of the situations. So, may not have got anything out of this 30-minute podcast, but hey, maybe it got you thinking about some difficult situations that you put yourself in, or you allow yourself to be sucked into. Don't do it anymore.
And stop
Build a
running
hedge.
stop signs. Black car.
Stay close, stay clean. We love you.